want to go back to the Air Force now?
I feel like I never left. It always feels like I'm coming home when I get back on an Air Force base, and I get to see all these people who've chosen to serve, who have put their own gratification, their needs aside. They've chosen to serve a cause greater than themselves and to do for all the rest of us what we either cannot or will not do for ourselves. A tiny fraction of our population is doing all the heavy lifting in the armed services on active duty and in the Guard and Reserve components. And so it's great to see these young people carrying on this tradition of service. And for those who ever doubt that this generation or the succeeding generations could not be as great as what we call the greatest generation and others, all they have to do is come out here and see them at work, and we're in good hands.
Feel like a kid in a candy store up there? Or is it...
Well, maybe a mature kid in a candy store, but yeah, it's a fabulous machine. And to see these people who are so dedicated and disciplined and approach their jobs with such a professional attitude, and to see the skill with which they do what they do, it's really rewarding and amazing, and just, it's a lot of fun to be that good at something that's difficult to do well, and to watch them do it with such precision is really an astonishing thing.
We're kind of seeing a lack of pilots in the Air Force now. What would you say to someone who's kind of on the verge?
Come do it. I mean, instead of having virtual adventures, I think people should begin to have real adventures in the real world. And what a more fabulous way to, there's not a more fabulous way to do it than in the air. Flying still is a lifelong passion for me. I was literally 5 years old when I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life. And I've been fortunate enough to actually spend my entire professional life doing something I love and something that was important. And when you get a chance to do that, there's nothing better.
Do you ever think that you'd be doing this? How old is he?
Oh, not as old as I'm going to be. Isn't that what Wikipedia is for? Do I have to tell you everything? No, I'm 66.
Well, did you ever think you'd be doing this at 66?
I hoped I would, but I never thought I would. I mean, once I separated from the service, I thought that was the end of it, and that I would never have that opportunity again, because very few people get to do it again after they've completed their service. So to have this opportunity is really quite an amazing thing.
Why'd you go to commercial?
I wanted to fly more. My active service was at the tail end of the Vietnam era during the drawdowns, the cutbacks, and the budget cuts. And for most of my Air Force career, I was flying very little, maybe once a week or once every other week if I was lucky. And I just wanted to fly more. And of course, now they're flying a lot. There are a lot of worldwide commitments and all the challenges that we're facing. So it's important that people continue to answer the call to serve. And I think when they do, then they, like me, will be able to derive a lot of purpose and meaning from it, and a lot of satisfaction for having done something that's very important to serve all of us, a greater good.
How often do you think about that day on the Hudson?
I get wonderful reminders just about on a daily basis about that day and what was accomplished by a team of people.
How'd this compare to the Phantom you flew?
Well, this is a lot newer, better airplane than the Phantom, but then better's a rough word. It's very, very capable. It's a lot faster, much more maneuverable, but the Phantom was rugged. The Phantom had a lot of unofficial nicknames because it was a twin-engine fighter instead of a single-engine fighter, and because it was just so brutal and not refined looking. We called it double ugly, but it did its job really well. It was a rugged airplane, and it was a lot of fun to fly.
So how have you handled the fact that people want to meet you, they all want to shake your hand, and it's been what?
8
years? 8 years, yeah.
Well, I think it's just an indication of the enduring power of this story still to touch and inspire people, because I think at a time in the world's history when it seemed as if during the financial meltdown everything was going wrong and no one could do anything right, and quite frankly some had begun to doubt human nature, wondering if it was really mostly about self-interest and greed, a group of people rose to the occasion that day and made it their mission in life to save every life. I think it was an event that gave people hope when they very much needed it. And so proud to be the public face of this event. And I'm very grateful for what we were able to accomplish under very trying circumstances that day. Great talking with you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming out.